Hey everyone, we are at a point in time where now you can use natural language prompts and essentially build your own dashboards and create your own software for internal productivity, whether that's serving clients or for your own internal productivity. And some of this might seem a little overwhelming. And there's a lot of talk today about vibe coding and building your own apps and just being able to create whatever you want. But I think there are certain limitations with that, and you've got to be really practical about what you can build. I'm not talking about code here. So with this video, I'm not going to talk about how you can essentially write code and create your own applications. That's a whole different ball game, and I think that's kind of being over marketed today. And there are very specific things you can do with that. But what I'm going to talk to you about is like tools that you could use through simple natural language prompts, which is essentially text instructions that you can give to an AI to build out dashboards or to build out tools. And these are using tools like Perplexity Labs. This is not just Perplexity, but Perplexity Labs, which is like a toggle. You can turn it on. If you have a Perplexity Pro subscription, you can turn on Labs by just clicking on that. You see that? There are like three different toggles here. So you have search, of course. You have research that does deep research like ChatGPT does. And then you have Labs. You can see right there, it says right there, turn your ideas into completed docs, slides, dashboards, and more, right? And so because I'm with the AI Business Fellowship with Perplexity, I got access to training and I got access to about like 1,000 seats, I think, to Perplexity. And so that gives me a unique insight into how to use Perplexity Labs. And I think it's one of an underrated product today. And I'm just going to jump right to it and just show you what makes this unique and what is actually the secret sauce that you need to build out your own applications and dashboards instead of paying a lot of money to, legacy dashboard systems that may not do the job you need them to do. So everything starts with instructions, right? Custom instructions are the key. You need to know how to use custom instructions really well. And so over here, I have all these instructions for Perplexity Labs, so it knows how to create my dashboard, right? And over here, I can also, when I click on the instructions, I can also upload like files or links that it can pull from. So think of this as like maybe you have questionnaires that you already have, built for your firm, and you want to, digitize it, right? And now you can do that with Perplexity Labs, and I recommend using Formless.ai. So let me just open that in the tab. This is a great tool to collect the data. So if you want to do data collection, use Formless, and then you could maybe build an integration with Perplexity Labs, and then have all the form responses come and sit inside Perplexity Labs, and you can then parse all those responses to create a visualized dashboard. So that's a little bit more complicated, but it's totally possible. Like, it can be done. At the very least, you can download the responses from Formless.ai, throw that into Perplexity Labs, and visualize like beautiful client-facing dashboards for each client, right? We're like, that's what gets me excited. Like, this is like client-specific personalization, not just, generic personalization. That is what is truly exciting about generative AI. It lets you do this kind of hyper-personalization at the client level. All right, so what did we build here? Advice engagement software that we built. I had spent about 2-3 years building out this software. This is pre-ChatGPT, of course. And essentially it was questionnaire software where we would throw a bunch of questions in, and the questions would dynamically change based on your status. So if you were married, if you were divorced, if you had a domestic partner, you were single, the questions would change, and the options would change for you to fill up the questions. And then at the end of the questionnaire, you'd have all these alerts pop up. So things you're doing well on, things you're not doing so well on, urgent high priority items that you need to take action on immediately. And so that it was a very rules-based system, right? And it took a lot of time to build out. The cool thing with generative AI is that it can take all those responses and questions, and if you give it like a base level system of alerts that you already have, it'll use that and dynamically create new alerts that's specific to that client. That's wild. Just even building this out, I was blown away by what I was able to do. So let me just jump right to it and show you how you as a firm can actually use Perplexity Labs to create your own advice engagement software versus using a vendor of sorts. And there are no integrations here. There's no client specific data that you can bring in here right now. You could do it privately. You could turn it off. It's easy to turn off. You know, Perplexity and Claude and all these tools have really good data retention policies, and so they don't train on any of the stuff that you throw in. But for this example, this video, I'm not using any like sensitive client data. But let me just show you what I built here. So this was like the long prompt that I threw in, right? Uh, and so you're gonna see a few things here. So you see labs, assets, steps, and sources, right? Steps lets you see what the model actually did. And you can see here it went through this long process. You can see it's also writing Python code, right? It's writing its own Python code to create its own dashboards, right? So it's going through a charting loop as well to create charts. And so it created a response for me in that first prompt. And, it created a bunch of graphs and charts and stuff, which was kind of cool. But I said, hey, I want a visual dashboard, okay, to show a client their entire path. So I, created a synthetic data set of, a hypothetical client, and I gave it to Perplexity Labs, and I gave it like instructions. This is what I want you to do with it. And that's essentially what you're going to see here in this dashboard. So you can see over here, you can see the word app. That's right. It actually built out an app. So I'm going to put it to full screen, and hopefully you can see it. But it's got it built out a dashboard. So you can see over here, all these different alerts pop up. On track, but room for improvement with the retirement emergency fund, build emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of expenses, debt management, estate planning, college planning, and priority actions, like I mentioned before, right? It also generated a score for the client, quick profile. So just imagine like you can collect these responses from a prospect, throw it into Perplexity Labs, and then you have an application to help them visualize and see what they need to fix to reach their goals, right? Current versus goal progress, nice visual, progress bars, financial path timeline, foundation. You can click on view details. You can scroll down and you can see all the information there. Milestone tracker, look at that. Next steps. It's got everything in place. And the reason it was able to do this really well is because I gave it context, right? And I think that is absolutely critical today. I think we don't realize the importance of context when it comes to prompt engineering, when it comes to throwing data at these systems. These models are only these outputs are only going to get as good as the data that you feed it, right? And in my case, I was able to give it this PDF, which you see right here. You can see this PDF right there. It says FinPath Alerts Explanation PDF. That has a master data set of all the alerts that I'd used to build that previous software system that now I can use with generative AI and have it dynamically use this data set to create these apps, which is pretty awesome. So you can see right here, I have this dashboard, like I said. You have these assets in place too, where you can, download stuff if you want. And then I asked it, the follow-up prompt was, okay, that's cool. Create a slide deck to present their financial alerts, right? So here's a personalized action plan for their client names have been anonymized, but here's an action plan, right? It's an interactive slide deck. It can be in full screen. It's probably clearer for us, but look at this. This is awesome. And it's branded too. It's branded with the colors of the firm. So you can give your firm's brand colors to Perplexity Labs and you can get it done. So you can see total alerts, high priority, checkpoint, well done. And now you can take them through each of these items, right? This is kind of what we hard coded. Spent a lot of money to do it, but now it's a lot more simpler to do it. The following 6 alerts require immediate attention to secure your financial foundation. Depending heavily on group life insurance. These are just alerts that the AI is pulling based off the PDF that I fed it. But just to show you, without getting into all these details of what's going on here with each alert, you get an idea of what's possible with Perplexity Labs. And this is just one application, right? This is advice engagement. And I think that it's ripe. Perplexity Labs is really ripe for advice engagement software because you're not using you're using questionnaire data, and you're not using anything sensitive that's related to their account information or whatever, right? You're just getting high level needs, wants, and desires and visualizing that for them. So I think it's okay to use it for that. But of course, like check with your compliance team and whatnot. You have an old 401k eligible to roll over to an IRA. This is, again, like I said, the AI does an incredible job of just visualizing everything for me. I mean, just think about how much time it takes to not just try to personalize an alert system for each client, but to also design the slide deck, right? That takes a lot of time to do that. And Perplexity did it for me in 10 minutes. So it does take a few minutes to do it, 10, 15 minutes even to design the slide deck. But, it's all personalized for the firm, and it's totally worth it, I think. So here's an action timeline, all done for you. Financial impact summary, total improvement potential, next steps. You can see right there. I mean, this is way better than what we were able to build. Way better, right? And I was able to do it in a few days. It's got the disclosures in place. So there you go, folks. You can build your own applications with Perplexity Labs with simple prompting. Forget about vibe coding. That's going to be a waste of time for you right now, unless you're just trying to build simple landing pages and time tracker apps. But if you want to bring your data safely and create an app out of it, you can totally do that. So let's look at the data retention settings here for a minute. So I've not spent a ton of time. Okay, here we go. Yes, looking at it, but I have definitely glanced over it. So you can see over here, it's got really good data retention policies. Files attached to threads are retained for 7 days. Files uploaded to your organization's file repository or to Spaces are retained until deleted. You can change the settings. If you want to make it 1 day, you can. 7 days, 30 days, 60 days. I think that's pretty cool. You have audit log settings too, which I've not really used. And compliance team would really like that because they can get immediate notifications if they so need it. And yeah, I think it's pretty much what a firm needs. They want to know their data is safe, and they want to know that they can also bring in data sometimes. So these are the connectors that Perplexity has built in. If you have your data client document sitting in Dropbox or Box and SharePoint, I'm assuming a lot of you all actually do, you can bring that in here. And FactSet is also available if you want to use financial data sets. I think these connectors are only going to get better and better over time. Yeah, so I hope you enjoyed watching that quick summary of how you can build your own applications. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment. And I am sharing a little bit of how I was able to do this in my LinkedIn newsletter called Wealth Management Prompts. You can click on the link in the description on YouTube if you're watching it on YouTube, and you should be able to access some of these prompts. It's a really complex, this is a little bit more complex than traditional marketing workflows and that I published in my newsletter. So, feel free to get in touch if you want to actually implement something like this within your firm. And thanks for watching, and please subscribe and share this with other advisors and firms that might benefit. So thank you.